7:08 on the East Coast. Dave Goldman Boogie with the Bull. Thursday night live. Randy Rose, the genealogist, the Emmy Award winning host of all of The Road to Dixie, which you see on the Facebook network and anywhere else. He is posting it right now. You should take it. You should watch it if you are a supporter of Randy's genealogy or just interested in the Southern groups that he is in. You should take it from Facebook and share it everywhere else that you are. I don't do it just because I have a belief that if I take something I do on Facebook and post it somewhere else, Facebook still makes money for it. And so I kind of don't do that. But that's just me. We're live on the Dave Goldman profile here on Facebook and the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Both have live chats. I'm going to turn it over to Randy because it sounds like the dogs are having a discussion. So go ahead, Randy. Tell us what's going on new and exciting in your life and in the world today.
As Dave mentioned, I just started a new broadcast. It's called On the Road to Dixie. It is co-sponsored, and the gentleman or woman, because they want to remain in the background, has indicated that he's willing to sponsor 2 broadcasts each month. I think that I'm going to do a couple more than that. Just to see how it goes. I'm excited for it because we're going to be talking about everything having to deal with the South, the good and the bad, the pretty and the ugly, just to show the folks who might watch it, who might be from the North or who might be liberal, that we are indeed human and that we only want the best for everyone, not just those who live in the South. It's going to talk about statues, the monuments, the reason why they are built, who built them, who do they honor, what battles they honor, and why in the hell is a liberal tearing them down and defacing them and melting them down into molten lava and then rebuilding them into some Black Lives Matter statue. So we are going to be discussing that. We're going to be just discussing the political, legal actions that those in the South are taking to try to protect their heritage. You know, folks, I often say that an army that invades another nation, one of the first things they do besides kill the soldiers is they start to destroy the heritage, the history of that nation, of that civilization. You know, they wanted to burn down the buildings. They wanted to destroy the temples, the churches. They wanted to burn and destroy any type of literature and statues and paintings and artwork and all that. It is their way of trying to erase that nation, the citizens of that nation. And even though it's been since 1861, since the war, the North, the people in the North are still trying their damnedest to erase those who live in the Southern heritage. And so this show talks about that. It's going to talk about the food, the different types of food that they eat and how they prepare it. So I'm going to try and get some folks on who can actually prepare a meal during the process of the show. Our first episode, we had a gentleman on who has been on broadcast a few times here on Boogie the Bull, as well as the American Rebellion, as well as the Patriots Lab. His nickname is Ichabod. His name is Stephen. But he actually goes out and restores monuments and statues and tombstones of the dead, not just Confederates, but also those from the Union, the Revolutionary War, and whatever. He has a thriving business. because just like what they're trying to do with destroying the heritage of the South, they're also trying to destroy the cemeteries. And of course, you have your vandals. And unfortunately, the cemeteries, they're not protected. There's no security. So it's an open season for them. And, it's so easy for folks like the Black Lives Matter members, the Antifa, the liberals, understand too, the Muslims are starting to destroy monuments and statues. It's a terrible thing when you can't leave the dead to lay there without being disturbed. So I think it's gonna be an exciting show, and I look forward to more broadcasts with it. We'll see what happens. The other thing is with genealogy, I talk about that quite a bit. The study of the family, but recently, folks been reaching out to me for other reasons. And that is a way of finding something from their past. Like there's one gentleman reached out to me to see if I can find his adopted brother that he just found out about, and it's been 50 years. So he and I have started the initial talk. He hasn't signed me up yet for it, but I feel confident that there's a good chance I could find his long lost brother. And there's reasons for it. There's ways of doing that. A gentleman reached out to me just yesterday. He's looking for a particular photograph of a Confederate soldier. And there are ways of doing that as well. The world of the internet has so many different types of programs and algorithms that you can find the white spot on the butt of a spider if you wanted to. It's just phenomenal what you can find just at the tip of your fingers, and that's what I do.
Right.
As far as what's happening in the news.
What's news? What's happening in the real world?
The real world. I just saw where the idiot DA from New York claims that she is going to go after every dime she can of Trump's money in New York. She's going to force him to sell off all of his properties to pay for the fines that she has been so far successfully and getting charged against him. Now, the thing that pisses me off
they haven't gone to the appeals yet.
Right, but I was going to say that the problem with that is that the judge is going to force the Trump folks that they're going to try and appeal the charges against him, the fines. They're going to force him to put up the entire dollar amount in escrow.
Okay.
So they actually have their hands and grasp on it, and at the moment they want to, they can take that money.
But the judge hasn't been dealt with. This is the judge who said, "You're guilty. I've already decided you're guilty. This trial is just a formality. We have to have it, but I've already decided you're guilty." So to me, that means that judge has admitted that judge needs to be recused from any further trials. The judge, it's a mistrial as far as I would guess, as far as the New York State Bar Association is concerned, because a judge can't do this. The Supreme Court, if they go on the law, can't accept this as a proper due diligence on Trump. But I could be wrong. I mean, everybody does whatever they want these days.
It is, it almost seems that those on the left can do whatever the hell they want against those on the right and absolutely get away with it. And so far, they have successfully got away with everything that they have done and said. And it's just so frustrating for someone like myself who believes and cherishes our country so much to realize just how um, uh, uh, filthy. I can't where I can't think of the word to describe them. It's almost like the mafia is in charge of the White House, and they can get away with it. They got their money is being laundered to the through the legal system. They're paying off the judges, they're paying off the DA, and they're in complete control of to do whatever the hell they want, get away with it, and those on the right have to live with it because we tried fighting the legal way. There's only one other way of fighting to get back control of our nation, and I hate to say it's just if it's going to be a civil war or what, but I don't know. But legally, so far, we have lost. We lose up and down the aisle.
This is true. We do. I'm going to read some people watching because I didn't do that at the beginning. Paul Smith is watching. Robin Brunson is watching. I'm watching. William Grant, my buddy, is watching. Robin is watching. Paul Smith is watching. And it says Kelly Nixon is watching. I didn't get it typed in properly. And Randy Rhodes is watching.
I'm watching.
So, I mean, it just seems that we all say every day we don't want to regurgitate the day before, but this whole thing with Trump is going to be a regurgitation until it's done. This whole thing with Biden is going to be a regurgitation until it's done. I don't understand, as I said Tuesday night to William, why if the FBI has 40 agents that spent 15 years at Biden Criminal Enterprises and they have everything, they're not moving along. But I know we have a corrupt Department of Justice, which is why. And so I hope that the evidence that the FBI has stays somewhere hidden at the FBI. And when Trump is reelected, a Republican Attorney General rebuilds the Department of Justice, the new director of the FBI goes after Citizen Biden, and that's it. But
I hate to bust your bubble, Dave, but I think the evidence that the FBI might have on Joe Biden is going to we were doing some cleaning the other day, and we're dusting off the bookcases, and darn, we threw the paper documents into the shredder, and all the evidence that we had against Joe Biden in this case has been destroyed, and we are so sorry. And no, we don't have any backups. We don't have any copies. We didn't forward it to anybody else. All we have now is word of mouth.
And I think what will come out of that is that the United States of America moving forward under President Donald Trump again is going to be different than the United States of America incorporated under Joe Biden. And that at this point, I hope President Trump goes after the Democrats for all this crap they've thrown on him in the election. I hope they go back and in his first term add all of that to it. And, because if he does, the civil penalties alone could be the $359 million that evidently, New York wants Trump to pay New York. And it's just crazy the amount of time that we're spending on on all of this when it's taking away from what we should be doing as a country. We're not taking care of us. We're taking care of those who got here illegally. We're treating them better than we treat ourselves. And at some point that has to end. We got to turn this around, and we got to try to get it back to where it should be. Yeah, there are people every day that say they don't think there's going to be a November election, and they could be right. I have to go right up until November 5th, believing that there is going to be an election. But, if the Democrats think they can get away with it, there may not be. They're going to have a hard time convincing America that Joseph R. Biden Jr. is going to become our king or our dictator or whatever. So, and I don't want to think what danger the Democrat dictator, if there is not a 2024 election, what kind of life that person is going to have, because we don't want a dictator. So I certainly wouldn't want to be the Democrat dictator of the United States of America. I think you are putting yourself in a whole world of trouble that
Dave,
that you don't want to have.
Dave, you might find this funny coming from me, but here's my thought on this, on what you're saying about the dictator and so forth. Oh, my office is a mess. Doing the genealogy, I get the opportunity to see the history of the world and what had prompted the immigrants to the migrants, or we're going to use for them to leave their homeland and to come to this new world. And we've had a taste of what our forefathers wanted for us in a sense of a republic, okay? And just like men do, men find a damn way to screw things up, to ruin a good thing. And over the years of this republic, that's exactly what happened. So we have in place rules that say that the leader of our nation, the president of our nation, gets 4 years to be in the office. But then we have these checks and balances to make sure he doesn't get too much power in his head. But when it boils down to it, is 4 years really enough time for a leader to rule a country? When Trump came into the office, look at how much time and effort he took fighting off all the false accusations. Look at the time he took to try and undo the problems that the previous 4 years, 8 years as president, to try and bring it back to a profitable, strong, honored nation. And at the end of those 4 years, he managed to do that, but he needs another 4 years or 8 years or 12 years to continue that pattern. It's a shame that when we have a leader that is as powerful and as strong as he is, and all the good he did, to only have that short period of time to...
The problem is that if you take someone who didn't come up through the House or the Senate and has an understanding of a basic understanding of how government works or how it's supposed to work, and make them president, and take that person who has none of that experience really being to sit down and be president. No, because I've always said, I think you spend the first year learning what you can do. You spend the second year maybe doing it and thinking about the book you're going to write in the third year so that you have it ready when you step down or get lucky enough to get a second term. And it's still pretty much the same in the second term. I mean, you might get a year of learning anything new that you need. You might get 2 years of actually being president, or maybe another year of actually being president, because in the third year, you're figuring out where your library is going to go, where your books are going to go, where you're going to go, and you're done. So, I don't know.
I would love to see, and this don't sound weird coming from me, but like I was saying, as a genealogist, I've seen and learned a lot about the different, leaders and how they led their nation. I personally think that we should go back to a monarchy. I think President Trump should be brought back in as a king, and because he's shown so much love and devotion to his country, I just think he would make one hellacious long-term leader.
The problem is who decides. I mean, is it going to be a majority vote that says Donald Trump becomes king, and then at any one time, if his approval rating falls below a certain point, is there an election, or is there a what do you call it, a vote of confidence in keeping the monarchy? I just think it's crazy. I mean, personally, I think where we are right now is we need to eliminate anybody who has served anyone in the House and anyone in the Senate who has served more than, 12 terms. Because in the House, that's 24 years in the House. In the Senate, it is 2 terms in the Senate. So, I don't know. This is where we're getting to. We're getting to these people like, Mitch McConnell at one time was the god of the Republican Party, and now he can't carry a sentence and doesn't even know who he is, where he is most of the time, and can't even operate most of the time. So,
obviously, term limits have to put in place too for certain aspects of our government, but Congress and the Senate, I think they need to understand that once we start seeing that the laws you're trying to pass, the rules you're trying to pass, is more destructive than constructive to our nation, then it's time to reel your ass back in and say, look, we're not going to put up with this shit because, here you are doing this new Green Deal. It's going to cost trillions of dollars. You want to kill off our beef, our livestock. You want to kill off our the chickens. Yeah. We're blowing up food. Just that there has to be a way of reeling in the power these people have and say, you know what? You've been here for 24 years. That's long enough. You're not going to go. I know.
Warren Buffett had one of the best ideas I heard, and it's any time Congress, the House and the Senate, is dealing with inflation over 3%, they stop getting paid until they bring it back down to 3%. And now that where that would be is that most of the time, if you run for Congress and we're way over 3% and you can't bring it down to 3%, you ain't getting paid. You there?
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments in the comment section here.
Yeah.
So Robin Brunson is saying that she has German and Irish, 2 very strong national fiber inside of a person. The Irish, it's kind of interesting when the migrants first started coming in and started building the cities and so forth, like New York. It just seemed like if you're Irish, you're going to be a firefighter or you're going to be a police officer. Just the way it seems to be that way. But yeah, the Germans as well. They have a very
you were
strong.
German, you were going to be a CIA or an FBI agent.
Yeah,
or a drag queen like Herbert Hoover.
The one thing that I have not yet found of all my clients, and I've had and have a lot of clients. So, but I have yet to come across one who is descendant from those who came from Germany, and for those who did, I have not yet found a German soldier, a man who fought for the Luftwaffe or the SS, the SS, or other aspects of the German military forces. And I have to think, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm going to put a note to myself to look into it. But I'm just wondering after World War II, was there a whitewash of history of the German soldiers? That
Okay,
we can't find that
because others are not here on Boogie with the Bull tonight. The honor of doing the Boogie with the Bull thing now falls upon Randy Rhodes as co-host, because Jen Woodruff is in the green room waiting to come in. So Randy Rhodes now as co-host of Boogie with the Bull. It's now Randy Rhodes' responsibility. It's now Randy Rhodes' responsibility to hit the bullhorn and let everybody know that Jen Woodruff is in the house.
Hi, guys.
It looks like you got it. Did you get it fixed?
Yes, we did. We
bought a new computer.
I wish. We rebooted the router. No, it was something on the lower level. It's really called a basement, but I like to say lower level because it sounds so cool. But anyways, we had to reboot the router. It's all good now. Thank you.
Good.
I know. Thanks for your help.
I'm glad you're back.
It sort of puts me in mind when I used to work for a DirecTV dealer here in Lancaster, and people would have problems with their service and continuity of the signal.
Right.
The go-to fix was, have you rebooted the box?
When in doubt, reboot.
Pull the plug down to 60 and plug it back in.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'd be on the phone with like Apple complaining about our iPads or our iPhones not working, and they would say to me, "Did you turn it off? Count to 10, reboot it, and turn it back on." And I'd go, "Hell no!" And they'd go, "Why?" And I go, "Do you realize how many phone calls we would lose in the 10 minutes it took for the phones to reboot?" But
that's funny.
And it's true now, because my Moto G is a 5G phone, and it has a bug in it that every once in a while it turns off mobile data and it puts itself on Wi-Fi only. And the fix is that you just have to, the fix is you go into settings and you reset all the networks, and it's fine until the next time it clears it out. But they discontinued. This is a 23 Moto 5G, and they corrected that problem in the 24s, so it doesn't get fixed. Just like we bought a 2006 Ford Freestyle, and it had a serious, a major bad sensor. They never fixed it. They never recalled it. They just discontinued the Ford Freestyle, so they didn't have to recall.
Wow.
Anyway,
Randy, I wanted to give you a couple of names. You were talking about Germans, and after World War II and the Luftwaffe, people that fought. I have a name for you. These two brothers, their last name is Zender, Zender. Well, these two.
Spell again, but slowly.
Zender.
So Zender with a Z for zebra.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Right.
They're brothers.
Zulu, Edward, Nancy, David, Edward, Robert.
Zulu, yeah. Exactly. Okay, so these two guys are brothers, and after World War II, they settled in, wow, Frankenmuth, Michigan. This whole city in it's called Frankenmuth. It's a Bavarian, or it's a German city, and it's in Michigan. And they set up their restaurant, which was called Zender's, and then right across the street from them was their competition, and that was the Bavarian Inn. And those two guys will have information for you. Amazing. And it's so sad. I swear this guy was in the war. He just died. So probably he was. But anyhow,
Yeah.
he was the piano player. He would always play the piano, and he would play that song Edelweiss, which means I
Oh
don't know.
yeah.
It's a flower, yeah, Edelweiss. And so it was like such a good memory. And he died. He probably died within the last, 10 years. I'm
Yeah,
like, oh
probably.
yeah, just yesterday. But
They
it's
also
sad.
had a bunch of the prison guards, or death camp concentration guards, some real bad ones that they allowed to come into the United States. I can't remember the guy's name. I want to say Ivan the Terrible, but I don't think that's who he was. But
No, I don't think
he was one of the major bad guys
henchman. Oh my gosh.
of death camps. He came into the United States, and when they found him, he was living in Dedham, Massachusetts, a model citizen, had kids that grew up to be, doctors, lawyers,
Like, oh my
whatever.
gosh.
I
Like
mean,
nothing ever happened.
just a model citizen, kept the secret hidden for a long time until the guy from that big Nazi hunters group out in California found him, and the United States government. I mean, the guy was in his like 90s and was going to die any day, had a terminal illness or something, and they literally they deported him, sent him back to Germany. They put him in. I mean, they had to take care of him because he had a terminal illness. He was going to die any day, and he lived in prison until he died. I mean, and it was ridiculous because most of the world was saying it's not going to fix
Let
anything.
him go. I know.
I mean, it's not going to fix anything. The guy's going to die anyway. And even from what I heard, some of the people that survived the death camps that he was at said, you know what? It's been so long.
No one wants to remember it, right?
No one wants to remember it. Everybody wants to let it go. The Germans don't even teach it, from what I understand, in school anymore. And everybody, the camps are there. I mean, I think the big one, Auschwitz, I think is still there, but the only thing that's left is like the main gate, which has like been almost destroyed. I mean, you can walk up, you can walk the grounds, but all you'd think it was an abandoned factory or warehouse or something.
Wow.
And of course, we remember so that we learn from it, and hopefully nothing ever like this ever happens again.
Yeah, right.
But and we supposedly say we go after other countries that do this, that do the same thing.
We did. We don't now.
It makes me want to ask: do either of you think that Putin was involved in Navalny's death in prison?
What do you think?
It's not him. Certainly, some of his people who do that kind of thing. But our government wants to act so innocent when it comes to other nations having individuals suddenly die, or you tell they were executed or poisoned or whatever, but we act so high and mighty when our government does the same thing on a daily basis. We kill off leaders, we kill off people, we kill off, we make it so that our political parties can't compete against each other. We're no different. In fact, we're probably even worse because we do it in a much larger capacity. Like dropping bombs on small towns and shit. Oh, we just killed 60 people. Yeah, we only went 2, but we killed 60. Sorry.
The buck stops here. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I got to read this. I'm sorry I interrupted people, and I apologize, and I won't do it again until the next time I do it. I have to run that disclaimer every time I do it. Robin Brunson said she was sorry that she was talking to her son and thought I was bad, but buying chocolate, I guess, for my son, and she bought him quite a bit. Well, Robin, just like the teacher used to say in school, if you were chewing gum, spit it out unless you have enough for everybody in the class. Don't come to a Boogie with the Bull broadcast with chocolate of all things and
She's a good mom.
And say something about it and not have enough. Robin is a great person.
See, I'm reading that differently, Dave. I'm reading that as that she bought chocolate for herself, not knowing that her son was buying chocolate for her as well because of Valentine's Day.
Oh, okay.
That's what I'm reading.
All right,
my grandmother.
All right, Robin, you're off the hook this time. I'm teasing.
My grandmother,
Robin's
God bless her soul, when she was alive, she was a huge woman. I mean, she was 350, 400 pounds easy. And it was her birthday, right?
Oh.
And she thought that no one was going to buy her anything. No one's going to stop over to visit. She felt so depressed that she bought this damn chocolate bar cake. It was an 8x12 cake, sheet cake, 2 inches thick of pure chocolate. Pure chocolate. Okay, it's not a cake. Not only that, it's pure. It's a gigantic chocolate bar. And by the time we got to the house with our gifts and stuff that we had, because we wanted to surprise her, she had half that chocolate bar eaten.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. She likes chocolate. Yeah. I don't know about that death. I think that you were talking about. I can't even say his last name, Dave. But he was Putin's enemy. But I think he was poisoned. They said that he was definitely poisoned. They had just made some poison at him and his people. So I don't know if it was an inside job or what. But Trump specifically said he would not. He would not blame that on Putin. And I don't know why he wouldn't. He won't even touch the issue. But I wanted to say the media wants us to look at Putin and Russia as the enemy, as China is pouring in. And major cities on the East Coast and the West Coast, New York and anything in California, all the way up to Maine, they each have a Chinese police department set up. They've been doing this. The Chinese have been coming over and setting up police departments not to arrest or correct United States citizens. And we're like, well, why are they setting these up? Because they had a plan to invade, and they're going to set up home here, and they need a way to control them. So China has been setting up police departments to control the people once they get over here. Their people. It's sick. They're the enemy. And the media is saying, look at the Russians, look at this, look at that. And that's what we're supposed to be concerned about, but we're not. As bad as it is, it's not a threat. I think I can't even go on, but really, whatever's Putin, the Ukraine belonged to Russia, and they broke away, and we are not supposed to be. It's none of our business. We are not supposed to be sympathetic to them. Can they just be part of Russia and be quiet? Are they being raped and pilfered and everything that's going on in Israel? I don't think so.
No, but I mean, it wasn't. They didn't pull away from Putin. they were part of when Mikhail Gorbachev broke up what was what was the Union, the USSR, the Union of Socialist State, Socialist whatever republics.
That's good. Okay.
Gorbachev broke it up. Everyone does know that apparently Putin doesn't accept that. He wants everything returned
the mother country
to Mother Russia, but he also wants Ukraine for the same reason we do. We want Ukraine because we want to put a NATO base there.
I see.
We want it to be the buffer between Russia and that portion of Europe. And he doesn't want it. But I mean, this whole thing, I mean, it's crazy. I mean, Biden, when he shut off the pipeline, tried to get us to electric vehicles and all of this other stuff. The first country we were buying oil from was Russia. And we were paying them much more than we could have taken it out of the ground here.
Oh my gosh, you're right.
I mean, when you were saying, China set up their police department in New York City, and they've probably done it in other places, I was going to ask, if Ronald Reagan was president today, do you think China would have the balls, excuse my English, Jen, to do that?
No. Nobody would. They wouldn't. It's like so stupid. We're a sovereign country until.
Do you think that Reagan would have sat by when Navalny was arrested and jailed because he was Putin's nemesis? I mean,
I don't think he cared. He would focus on America, and that's what the president is supposed to do. That's what the media is supposed to do. But the media is the lapdog for the president right now. That's
the media, the Department of Justice, the Department of Homeland Security, the IRS,
FBI, CIA,
CIA.
Yeah, it's scary. It's a scary thing, but you're right.
It is. I go to bed at night, and sometimes because of dementia or memory issues, I'll just run certain things through my head just to make sure I still remember. When I wake up in the morning, I'll do the same. I'll do the same games for a couple of minutes to get going, and I just I'm scared about the day I'm going to go to sleep and Joe Biden's going to be king of the United States when I wake up in the morning.
Yeah, he thinks he is. Oh my God, it's crazy. I can't wait to see what's going to happen this Easter. If there's going to be another bunny that guides him around the whole.
Oh my God!
That was here we go again. It's crazy. Who do you think is in charge of the deep state, Randy? Are we allowed to talk about it? I think
we can talk about it all we want. It's not Obama. I mean, I was waiting for Randy to say it's Obama, and I only say that it's not Obama. It's people way up above Obama. It's not even Hillary Clinton or it might be George Soros. It's people up in that.
It's somebody with a lot of money. Okay.
Maybe Klaus Schwab is in it. But go ahead, Randy.
God knows it could also be a foreign nation, for all we know. I don't know who. I just can't put a finger on who is controlling, the White House. But it's obviously someone with power, someone with a shitload of money. It's someone who can make you disappear, I think, if they have to. Okay. I don't know. It's a very good question.
It's that Easter bunny. No, I'm kidding. I'm just the way he's led around by that stupid Easter bunny. And I'm like, we're going to see it again. And I know we talked about this before, Randy, but that guy said, you know who I'm talking about. They always say what they're going to do. And that one guy said, if I could have a third term, I could be the
Mm.
earpiece. And this, to someone who would be like the
But
face of the president. And so I'm like, yeah, but you're right. He has to have upper echelons behind him because this is it's too
but the
much.
but the
Well,
problem is
he could. I mean, look at. The reason why I'm saying it has to be someone with a shitload of money and power because whoever is doing this is in control of the White House. They're in control of the judicial system. They're in control of the FBI and the other alphabet soup people. It is someone extremely powerful, and that's why I think it has to be another country.
Klaus Schwab. Yeah, the World Economic Forum. It is crazy. It's so crazy. I can't believe the things they're doing. And like you said, it is another country because who in the world gave him this idea to open up the border? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. No one knows. They're even asking him, "Can we shut it now? We have to do this." Even AOC is warning him about the border. We're going to have to curtail this. It's just too much at once. New York is crying. They are crying for help, and it's just too much at one time. We are overwhelmed.
but the funny thing about New York being overwhelmed is I don't have any sympathy for Mayor Adams. Because Mayor Adams decided he wanted to be a sanctuary city, probably because he knew of all the federal money that was going to pour into New York. Whether or not it would have ever been used to support any of them is something I don't know and I don't care about. But then when the problem overwhelmed, the money started being less. They're stuck with all of these people. Crime is through the roof. They don't want to do it anymore.
And there's food shortages too.
Yeah, and there's truckers, and there are now truckers that
I know
that do not that do. I see memes every day. I'm saving them as fast as I find them.
they won't drop off. They won't.
They won't go to New York. I know a couple of friends of mine that are truckers and have been truckers on Facebook for as long as I've been here that they've said no, they won't go, but they don't normally go to New York anyway. But if a job got offered to them right now, in New York they probably wouldn't take it.
Well, that's crazy.
But that just means that they'll find other ways to get things into New York. One of the largest trucking companies in the United States has a fleet of autonomous trucks. The tractors are self-driving trucks, and it's pretty freaky to see one of them on the highway. I mean, it's actually pretty freaky. And there are signs all over. There are signs all over it letting you know that it is
unmanned.
They let you know that it's an autonomous vehicle, so that if you don't want to be in its way out of fear of something that could happen or might happen, don't get anywhere near it. But I rode behind it for about 10 miles, probably 2 or 3 car lengths behind it, because my cruise control was locked, and I'm sure its was too. And then I passed it safely, and I was 2 or 3 car lengths and 2 car lengths in front of it with my cruise control locked at 5 miles over the speed limit, and I had no problem with it. Okay. It's taking away jobs from truckers, but I'm sure that's what will happen. That trucking company will get the call, or there'll be more train derailments in New York because trains will have to get stuff in, and I don't know how you'll get it around in New York anyway. But or more people will order from Amazon, and
hopefully those truckers.
Yeah, Amazon
drivers aren't Amazon drivers are nightmares. Period.
But I buy stuff a lot from Amazon, and as I'm looking at the script, it says it will deliverable and such and such. It will deliver by tomorrow. It will deliver by whatever 2 days. So I go through and buy the rest of my stuff, and I go to check out, And I checked out. It's like a week out. So what the hell are you? How do you go from one day, the next day
Right.
to a week out? And they all said the same thing. It was like I purchased an item that actually was a week out. It's just nerve wracking because I need the shit now.
And the funny thing to me is if you set yourself up as an Amazon delivery partner, you put up $30,000. Well, you have to finance it yourself. You can finance it with Amazon if you can't get anybody else to finance it, but it's $30,000. It was $30,000 to buy one of the Sprinter Mercedes vans. And I have seen people get brand new ones and start driving, and after, I don't know, 6 months, the thing looks like
Used car.
worse, all banged up, all this, all that. I wouldn't, I don't know. It's crazy. Anyway. But what I want to find out on the World Economic Forum, and you might know, Jen, did Schwab put any of his own money into it, or did he just get these billionaires, trillionaires, leaders of other countries all together, and they put all their money into it, and he's just the puppet that they're all controlling?
No, I think he had a lot. He's got a lot of money, like heritage money, rich money
Okay.
from his family. So I think they all just went in on this together, and those are the ones who control the world. And it's sick because it reminds me so much of what those three mutual funds that everyone gives into with their checks. That's what your paycheck is paying for. They're paying for mutual funds, and it's Vanguard, BlackRock,
State Street.
State Street. Yeah, those three. They want to rule the world over
State
here.
Street,
They
State
wanna-
Street is huge.
They want to start, which we're on the brink of it. They want to start another housing crisis where you build this house and the interest rates are going to drop way low. And then all of a sudden we build a new house and the rates are so low, but you cannot refinance your house no matter what. As people get trapped in those ARMs, the adjustable rate mortgages, which is a balloon loan, and you cannot refinance it. I know this so well because that's what happened to us. But anyhow, so that was when we foreclosed and claimed bankruptcy and just washed everything away back in Michigan. That was like the housing crisis of, it was either 09 or 10, I don't know, but it was at the same time that they were doing the walkout on Wall Street. When the oh my gosh, the bigwigs got so scared. Obama didn't know what to do. So he had to come out with this crazy thing to just stop everybody from walking out on Wall Street and being so offended about the housing crisis. So he brought up homosexual rights. And then all of a sudden, it was so crazy. And then we had to honor these homosexual marriages and blah, blah, blah. And he said from the beginning, no, he said back when he was in the Senate that marriage is between a man and a woman, because we all thought that Michelle was a woman. Yeah, I can't even go there because my husband doesn't agree with me. And I'm
life in America is really crazy because I'm 62 years old and I just got approved for my pre-approved. I didn't even apply for it.
What is it?
It's a MasterCard.
Oh my gosh, that's funny.
And it came in the mail in one of those you've been pre-approved envelopes, and I'm looking at the whole thing and I'm going, I know about this bank, but I didn't apply for it. I have no idea how they found me. So it was kind of funny because I was on the phone with my mother the other day and I said, your son's 62 years old. He just got approved for his first credit card. My mother said, shred it or send it back and tell them to shred it. You don't need it. And then I tell people, I still hear from my dad who passed away 4 years ago. Every once in a while I'll hear him. And I was going to bed the other night, and I swear to God, I heard my dad laughing. and I think I said to him, as I was drifting off to sleep, "What is so funny?" And I could have swore I heard him say, "Your mother said shred it."
That's funny
because of all the trouble he had.
Wow, with debt or
he lived when they started their business. They lived off their credit cards for the first couple of years. They lived off their credit cards, and he screwed up his American Express card really bad and almost lost it. But my mother, who did the books in the house, got it all straightened out. But I'm not worried about it. My wife will make sure I don't mess it up.
My father and mother,
you might be able to pay people someday to be on Boogie with a Bull.
My mother and my father, when they were alive, young, I was a teenager. So it tells you how far back it goes. But my dad was he had a very good paying job, and he was a big advocate of the credit cards. Every department store back then had JCPenney, Sears, Woolworths, where they all had their credit cards, plus the MasterCards, the Visa cards, the whatever cards, right? My dad had two wallets. One he kept cash in, and one he kept the cards in. So, so he'd go into a store and he'll be checking out, right? And the lady check out say, "Okay, so how do I pay for this, sir?" "Well, let's see. This was car I'm going to use today." And the wallets that have that expandable plastic sheet with you normally keep pictures in them. Well,
yes. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
Let's see. You just pick one.
I had a JCPenney card when I worked at JCPenney, and the only reason I had it is because I think when I got it, they would put your paycheck on the card 1 or 2 days early, and you had access to your paycheck a couple of days early.
Oh my God, that would be so. I would spend so much money.
So that I worked there, so I didn't buy much there anyway when I worked there. But and then and a debit card with a bank has always been the same as a credit card to me anyway, because when I run out of money, I can't use it.
Right. Oh my gosh, good for you.
I have to borrow money from the bank in order to.
Years back, I worked part-time at a Kmart store, and they paid their employees in cash, right?
Yeah.
And they weren't stupid. They had the human resource office at the very back of the store, and you'd go there, and they'd pay you whatever your earnings were, and they paid cash.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing damn well that on the way out of their stores, you had to walk across. You're going to be spending some money.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's what they did.
Yeah. My brother works at Target, and my brother, he's very fiscally responsible, but he works at Target, and he shops on his Target card all the time. But so yeah, I understand that. But for me at Penny's, I didn't spend very much money because everything I wanted was more than I could afford to buy anyway. So,
that's funny.
Even with the employee discount, Barbara, we got to get you to come on this broadcast sometime because you sound like a knowledgeable, fun person to have on.
I was on Ray's show earlier today, and we were just, doing what we're doing here, just shooting the breeze, talking about stuff and, politics and news and whatever was being said in the comments was addressed towards me, but I couldn't see it. And Raymond said, "That's it. That's it. You're out of here. I'm going to ban you from this group. You're done. You're out of here. I told you."
Wait, Brother Ray, Brother Ray excommunicated you today on his broadcast?
No, not me. Someone else.
Yeah, someone in the chat.
Okay.
Peanut, no, the peanut gallery. So tell us.
Okay.
And I said, what's going on? I said, I can't. He said, I won't. He said, I refuse to say verbally what he was saying, but essentially he was saying, how could Raymond allow a person on his show that has this flag flying behind me? And of course, that started a whole conversation.
The Confederate flag.
I'm going to come back to this because I'm someone who doesn't care about the flag that you have. But my belief is that when you're on Boogie with the Bull, if you do your own broadcast and your studio is where you do it, it should look like when you're on Boogie with the Bull that you're in your studio doing your show. And if you want to have a Confederate flag hanging in your studio, or you want to have a Nazi flag hanging in your studio.
Oh, no, that one too.
Well, no, you won't be on, but I mean, I'm just saying that, the extremism is that I don't really care about what you hang on your broadcast, within reason. But I mean, a Confederate flag, if you want to have one hanging in your studio right behind you, then that's what you hang. And if people don't like that, then they don't do business with you. They don't watch your broadcast. And it just gives people that don't have something to bitch about every day something to bitch about.
I don't know how I would react if, in the process of doing my own family history, to find out that my great grandfather, was an SS officer or a stout, or a prison guard and oversaw the death of people. I don't know how, I guess that probably boiled down on how my parents and their parents raised them, because it flows downward. So I guess if, that individual who fought for Germany and who was a bad person for the, for the German army, I guess if he would sort of survived, it's very possible he would have reflected his beliefs continually down on his children, and then his children to their children and so forth. And it might not wash out. You know what I mean? It might not, over the years, that belief, that feeling that, whatever would have washed out to where, they would be a normal, decent human being. Right. But, when people see that flag, it's like, that's a battle flag. That's what that is. That's a flag that was flown when the soldiers went into combat. Very similar to the United States military flags. Each unit had their own flag, plus they had the national flag, or the Boy Stars and Stripes. And when I see the people, when it only seems to happen on Raymond's show. So I'm not sure if it's his people who watch him are this way or not, but it only seems to happen on Raymond's show where there's a question about the flag. But, there are people in the country who react just as badly towards the American flag as those who reflect on the Confederate battle flag. I mean, you have universities and colleges who refuse to fly that flag, the American flag, which I do have one here. Just, so people know I do have one. Well, where's it? There it is. Okay, right next to that flag. I do have that, okay? But
it just seems to me, like I said, it's just people who don't have something else to bitch about, or looking for something stupid to bitch about. I mean, I guess the great thing for me was I was in radio for 6 years, and it didn't matter what was on the wall behind me because you didn't see it.
Nobody saw it.
Nobody saw it. Nobody saw it.
You had a really good background, Dave. I loved it. With the piano in the back, I'm like, oh my gosh, Dave moved up to the front house.
No.
It was
That's
a good.
Boogie. That's the Boogie with the Bowl Lounge. There's a grand
Oh.
piano in there. I mean, on Friday mornings between midnight and 2 a.m. I understand there's a really good piano player that comes in. We've been trying to get Robert Lawless to come on and do a live concert
up
one
at
night.
midnight on Friday.
No.
Oh my gosh.
No, my wife knows that if I had a separate studio, separate from our bedroom, and I woke up in the middle of the night and I can't go to sleep. If I woke up and I didn't want to bother her, I'd go into the studio and I'd do 2 or 3 hours worth of stuff in the studio until I was tired, and I'd come back and go to sleep.
That's funny.
I had said to Jerry Michaels a lot that if I had a separate studio, since he's up all night and I was up all night, or I'd wake up in the middle of the night, we'd do something at 3 a.m. You know.
You're funny.
What?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Just
but you get over.
I'm laughing at Randy's.
I'm
face.
funny, but I'm funny, but
No.
you get over my looks pretty fast.
No, stop. No, it's just so funny. Randy has us on pause, so the thing that comes up, instead of just putting it on, like turning off your camera, there's this little quiet face, and it's funny.
I have to learn how to do that, but I have this beautiful red, white, and blue hand flipping the bird, and if I knew how to do that,
That's funny.
I would probably do that. Randy Griesenbeck ordered an intro that looks like, remember the beginning of the Batman TV shows where the searchlight had the Batman insignia on it, and they would shine it up in the sky, and Batman would know to call Commissioner Gordon.
Right.
Well, he was going to do one with the logo that on the cup that you designed.
Oh, so I love it.
So that comes up. I do have to. I got to give Randy Griesenbeck credit. He designed that red, white, and blue logo.
Okay.
Himself.
Okay.
And you did the lettering.
Put it on
the cup. Lettering, and you can buy the cups from Jen. They're $20. If you really want one, contact Jen. It's $10 for the cup, and it's $10 to get it shipped to you. And I just tell everybody they're on sale every day for the incredibly low price of $20, which includes shipping.
Right. That's great. We should have put them on tumblers or whatever, the ones with the lids that you can bring in the car. Those are more.
Yeah. I will do that at some point.
Awesome.
The mug that you never got is the travel mug that you never got.
Thank you. Yeah.
Donna made it.
The Great American Family, right? Or the Great American.
The Great American Nation.
Nation.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to that one. No. Yeah.
I still post in it. I still post in it. And then I always go.
Oh, that group. No. That group is still there.
Yeah, I do that. I do the 2 A's. Boogie with the Bull is the B. C is conservative something. And then there was, and then GH, that's the Great American something. And then
the Great American Nation. Yeah.
H is on pause right now.
No. No. That group. Okay.
Hardcore?
I promised I wouldn't do this, but I'll remain calm and I'll remain rational when I say it. Our groups right now are American Regulators, which we adopted from Jim Bowles several years ago because he had removed all of his admins. I wasn't an admin or a moderator yet. I was in the group. He removed all of his admins because they tried to steal the group from him.
Oh.
He removed all of them, hid himself so he couldn't be removed, and then asked me to take over the group. So I have done that. Boogie with the Bull is mine. Conservative Freedom Defenders is the red one with Art, which is Art Sessa's group. And God, let me see. Then we go down to MAGA News Nation with Vita Marie Harmon. She inherited the group. The group went into a dead mode because things within the group's hierarchy at the time Didn't happen. She was a member. She took it over. We're running it together. It's great. Then you go down to the R's. No, excuse me, the G's. You go down to the R's. You have Red Patriots for America. Then you hit the thes. You have the Great American Nation, which has been around forever at one time or another. You have the Hardcore Conservatives group relaunch, and then you have
who is America for Americans for Free Speech? Is
that's
that
Eric Leon Barton. That's Eric. You're in that group. You're an admin in that group. That's Eric Leon Barton's group.
I didn't know if it was his. Okay.
So,
yeah.
So
Eric and I had become friends. I'm sorry, Randy, but Eric and I had become friends, and we were working together when I had first launched the Great American Nation group the first time, and he was unable to keep his group going at the time, so he brought like 1,500 members of his group into that group, and we became buddies and had a bunch of groups together. That is his group.
So to answer William Grant's question, he wants to know what happened to Stephen. I believe you're talking about Stephen Tolliver, otherwise known as
Crazy Horse.
Crazy Horse. He moved to Montana.
He has left Facebook. He has left all social media.
Right. And he moved to Montana.
To live in Montana.
Where he has a very large compound.
Last I heard that there was things in the works that he cannot talk openly about, but he had evidence to suggest that he and his family and the close friends should go to one of his two. He has two
compounds.
What did you say?
Compounds.
Yeah, compounds. Two military compounds because of
their sovereign. Their sovereign
nation.
Sorry,
the sovereign nation.
Their sovereign nations. I believe they're on Indian reservations.
But that there's things going on that he just wanted to get his family to safety to where they can defend themselves because of the pending hell is going to break loose between now and the election time.
Right.
And I agree with him. If I had a place to go to, I mean, I would go. Somehow I think I might burnt my bridges on my getting a trip down south for my own personal safety when I left the one group. But I did leave the one group just because something was going on internally and it wasn't getting taken care of. And I just decided, you know what? It's just too much politics. But I'm still part of the inner workings of what's going on. And people keep saying about the election coming up. Folks, I don't think we're going to make it to an election. Seeing and hearing what I've been seeing and hearing in these Southern groups alone, I don't believe we're going to make it to a vote.
Wow.
I don't.
They can't. That is the one thing.
They can do whatever they want. What the response is going to be?
Well, it's not going to be legit, but we have to. That's like, let us be disillusioned that our vote counts, and let's at least vote.
I think that they will find a civil war. They'll find a civil war shortly thereafter if they do it, and they will lose. They will lose.
My belief in our one vote counts went out the window when Biden won the election. When you saw Biden and he's out there and he has his circles drawn into the grass and you got like 6 people per circle, or you got a parking lot with half a dozen cars, or he's in his basement talking to the nation. And then you have Trump out there with his 15, 20, 25, 30, 50,000 people, screaming USA, USA.
Right.
And then you see how the voting on national TV went from him being the president to him not being the president. It goes back to there is someone who has a hellish lot of power to be able to pull off our nation's election, and it's a power that there's only one way to remove it. There is only one way, and it's not the ballot box.
Well, I mean, I guess Mike Pence on January 6th, the vice president, was the Senate president.
Judas.
And the only thing,
he's bad.
Only thing he had to do was certify the results of the election. But that includes allowing any senator to stand up and say, I'm Ted Cruz, I'm the senator from Texas. These are the results from the state of Texas, certified by the state of Texas. But on behalf of the great state of Texas, I'm going to protest them. Pence does exactly what he does. He looks over at the clerk and he says to the clerk, did Senator Cruz file the appropriate paperwork with you to protest before this session was gavelled in? The clerk says yes or no. If the clerk says no, then the protest isn't heard, or I don't know what they do. But the clerk would have looked at the Vice President Pence and said, yes, he did. Then fine. Then what I understand is the rules is they continue calling the roll from A through Z, every state, including the ones who said there was going to be a protest.
But he didn't do that. He didn't do that.
He didn't do that. He didn't do that because
he betrayed the whole nation.
He chose not to acknowledge the protests, which means that they didn't get hurt, because the rules say the protest after the roll is called, the vote of every state that didn't have a protest is certified in alphabetical order. Again, you go through the protests of every state. That session does not end until all of the protests have been until they've been resolved and the Senate agrees that it's been resolved. Then a Senate vote declares whether or not the election has been certified and by majority, and that's who wins. He didn't do that.
That's like right now, okay. Okay, I have a degree in marketing, so I know how polls work. And polls only work for the people who are actually paying to have the polls done. Okay, so they're bullshit. Okay.
Well, Donald Trump said
they're trying to say that Biden is 4 points above Trump and this one poll that they're running. No, he's not. I mean,
look at their rallies. Look at their rallies. I mean, Trump is uses a ball field, packs the thing out. Right. Biden uses a high school gym and has its faithful 12 people there with him. And it's we're not stupid.
In circles, what's that term? Safely distanced apart.
Yes. Oh my God. Here we go again. Yeah. It's
so here's my prediction, and I got to jump off. This is my prediction.
Okay.
We are not going to make it to an election. Okay. The only way we're not going to make it to an election is if they. And I know America will never be defeated. Okay, America as a nation won't be defeated, but the government, the government itself will be defeated, because you have, President Trump, who was out there in front of multiple thousands of people who love him. He's got, the back end of the military, the back end of the police, blah, 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 blah. But the Democrats have control of the judicial system, and they're doing everything possible to find some fake, false crime that's going to actually finally stick on him to his ability to run for president is not going to happen. So that's prediction one. Prediction two is we're going to have get involved in a war with either Ukraine or Israel or another one, so that Biden can say, "Look, we're in the middle of a major war. We're not going to hold elections this time around," or we're going to have a breakout of some type of nasty disease. We're going to lock down. We're going to do mail-in ballots, and we know how that's going to work out. Or there's going to be an assassination of Trump. That's
Just
my
remember,
prediction.
okay. Just remember though, Biden cannot declare war. Only the House can. We have a Republican Speaker of the House. Whether or not he wants to declare a war, he is the one who decides whether or not it goes on the agenda on the floor for its first vote. You know how many votes they have. It's not
world. That's how it should work. But right now, our government is not living in a perfect world. Our government is living in a world as who has the money, who has the dirt to make things happen. Otherwise, Trump would not be, going to a court every damn day of the week fighting off this or that false claim.
You know what? I hope Vladimir Putin, the king of Russia, gets Ukraine back for one reason and one reason only. He will put out an international arrest warrant for Joe Biden. He will have Joe Biden arrested and brought to the World Court where this will happen. He will be tried for everything under the sun he did in Ukraine. Well, no, maybe he'll just go after him for what he can prove the Bidens did and are doing in Ukraine, and that'll be the end of it. Just like George Soros will never go to Russia again because there's an international arrest warrant against him from Russia for doing bad financial services for people in Russia.
One last thing, and I gotta go.
Okay.
What do you guys think about that idiot young woman who has dual citizenship between the United States and Russia, going to Russia, and then sending $50 to Ukraine, knowing that's against the law?
Which one is this? The ballerina?
No, she's not a ballerina.
Okay.
Soccer?
Okay.
There was a soccer player, a ballerina.
Today. Yesterday this happened.
Oh.
Well, okay. It doesn't, I guess, it may have violated her U.S. citizenship to send money to Ukraine, but it didn't violate her Russian citizenship. So worst comes to worst, I guess, you try her for crimes against being a United States citizen, and you take her citizenship away and you send her back to Russia. But if you do that...
She's in a Russian prison right now.
The gulag.
Okay. What he has to do, the right and just thing to do is that you deport her back to the United States, and before she gets on the plane, you take her Russian citizenship away.
So she's being charged with treason. Her name is Ksenia Karolina Kavana. She is accused of sending just over $50 to a town in Ukraine.
And she did it in Russia. The transaction was in Russia. Well, then I would imagine when it gets to court, it's going to be, she was in the United States when she did it. She's a citizen of the United States, and she had every right to do it. If you don't agree with that, then you take her Russian citizenship away and you send her to you deport her back to the United States of America. This whole thing with dual citizenship is always going to be a problem for both countries, because if my brother-in-law is Iranian. He was born in Iran. He came to the United States when he was, I think, 8 years old, he said. His mother, I don't know if he is, but his mother is still a dual citizen and spends so much of the time in Iran and so much of the time here in the United States of America. You, in theory, are only responsible for the laws of where you are when you are. So if you were a United States citizen and you went to your home in Russia, you're under Russian law. You're an American citizen, but you're under Russian law while you're there. So if it's worse enough, you take her Russian citizenship away from her and send her back to the United States, because that's what the U.S. Embassy in Russia, the State Department is going. They're going to be trying. They're trying to, I'm sure, get her released and sent back to the United States.
We'll probably trade her for someone that we don't need. So that's not. I gotta go.
Okay.
So she's faced 70 years in prison. Yep. They're saying that the money she used went to a non-profit organization in Ukraine, which is known for providing weapons and bullets to the Ukrainian soldiers. And that's why she was arrested for treason.
Okay. But then again, you have that, whatever happened with the women's basketball player who got arrested trying to leave Russia with marijuana in her luggage because it's illegal. You can't have it in Russia. So they were, I guess, going through her bags before she got on the plane to fly back to America, and they arrested her.
Isn't that the one we traded? The lesbian basketball player, the one that we our transgender, the one that we traded for like 5 or 6, Russian spies.
Okay. Yeah, it could be. But
she's back taking money. She's playing basketball again.
That's what that's what I think they should do. What happens is if you violate the law and it's a bad law in your country, and that's where it happened in, you're going to rule against her. You're going to punish her in your country. The way I see it in this case is they ought to just send her to the United States. They give her 70 years in prison. They got to support her being in prison for 70 years. So if I was Putin, the first thing I would say is no, just call up Trump, have him get some low-life, stupid Russian janitor who got accused for being a spy, working at Biden's offices at the University of Pennsylvania. And he's in prison for 100 years. Find him, send him back. Tell Putin that's all we're doing. We're going to send her back, and you're going to exchange.
The problem with our government.
The problem with our government, we can never do a one-on-one trade-off. It always has to be one
for 5 really bad.
Billions of dollars. We always have to do more than what's expected.
Because we allow those
another country, and you break their laws, you're screwed. You're staying there.
That's true. But the way I see it is these trades were like when Obama was president, we sent back the entire Iranian army to Iran for one spy that the towel heads were holding.
But when there's a Republican in the office, what do we do? Sure, we'll trade you that guy for one of our mega bombs on your cities.
Yeah.
Think twice about that. My fingers on the butt.
If Kim had called Trump and said, "I'm going to trade a nuclear warhead in North Korea with the United States if you don't release this prisoner of mine," I'm sure by the time Trump hung up the phone, Kim would have just called it off and did it. William, you're welcome to be on. We got about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to pull the plug. At 9 o'clock, I have to pull. At 9 o'clock, I got to pull the plug.
But the sad thing is that with North Korea specifically, they're close enough and their missiles fly fast enough that by the time they push their button and launch their missiles, and we actually get around to responding to it, the explosion on our end has already happened. We're just responding to the catastrophic occurrence of what just took place. We have nothing in place fast enough.
But-
I hate to say, if the way it should be is if a nation launches a missile against our country, the president should be allowed to say to the Pentagon, retaliate now, launch a retaliatory strike. We shouldn't have to go through the whole damn process of getting permission,
From
before we
Congress.
actually respond, because as fast as these things are flying now.
But how many times did President Trump, after something happened to us, months later say, you heard on the news the drone came out of nowhere and took out the bad guy in Iran? So, to me, they do something here. I don't have any doubt. Well, I have doubts now that if Iran or China or Russia bombed the United States, I have concerns that what Biden's response would be, because he can't make a decision to just bomb Iran. It's an act of war. He can't just do it. He may go ahead and do it, but there's no way in hell, even if the Republican Speaker of the House is a rhino, I doubt very much there's any way in hell that Mike Johnson is going to let President Biden declare war. Anywhere. Period.
I hope you're right.
I don't think our military would willingly follow Biden into a combat situation because of his mental capacities being so challenged to make the right decision. Let me Adolf Hitler. Okay, in the early years of the war, he took his military and went across all of Europe and was kicking ass.
Mm-hmm.
He supposedly, according to history, had sex with a Jewish woman, and she was diseased, and he came down with the clap, and the clap got so bad that it started to mentally affect his decision making. And it was at that point in time is when he started making poor decisions that they actually started to lose the war.
Right. Well, when the U.S. got into the war, it was just a matter of time before they lost. We were going to. He was going down. It was just a question of how long, how soon, how much it was going to cost us, and when we could do it. He was going down. Plus, his own officers had tried to kill him several times anyway.
Yeah. Well, but that was during the time frame that he was starting to show mental a breakdown from the disease. Anyways, I gotta get going. It's nice to meet you. Take care, Dave.
Bye. All right, Randy. Are you doing it? Look, Randy did it himself. Randy did it himself. All right, Jen, you want to say goodbye?
Yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. We really appreciate it. And don't get too distracted by all this Russian stuff. I really feel like this Russian, Ukraine, all this Putin talk is nothing but a big distraction. Keep your eyes on the ball. That is China. They want to attack Taiwan, and they are pouring into our country. They already have a system set up here. They have police stations in most of our states, especially the ones on the borders, and that is the real enemy. And they're the ones who, you can't find anything made in America anymore. You can't even find an American flag made in America. You cannot even find a little tag that says made in America that doesn't have China on the bottom of it.
Okay.
That is the real enemy. And I like to compare America to a tank, and how you can't take over a tank from the outside. You can only take it over from within. And that is what
Okay.
we're dealing with. And I know it doesn't give anyone great hope, but pray because America is God's.
Okay. I'm going to throw one thing at you. Trump says buy American. You should only buy stuff that comes from America. My 2020 Trump mask is in
Stop.
the bag that it came from, and it has a certificate of authenticity from China.
I know. Sucks. Yeah.
I know. All right,
Wow, that's funny. Okay, bye guys. Thank you so
Okay.
much for watching.
Jen. All right. All right. Let's see. There we go. Okay. Jen Woodruff, Randy Rhodes. Well, it's a pleasure to have them on. William, I'm sorry, but I had said somewhere between 8:30 and 9 o'clock it would end because I needed to be done by 9 o'clock so that my wife can go to bed because she has to work because she's not on Social Security yet, and I don't believe that even when she goes on to Social Security, she'll still work or do something. Fantastic crocheter, does craft shows with our daughter-in-law, who also crochets. They got a lot of wonderful stuff that they're making, and maybe from time to time I'll post some on my Facebook page. We'll post some up. We'll show some on the broadcasts, and you can order stuff. I mean, she does really cool stuff. She only makes red, white, and blue stuff for me, but I mean, here's my favorite red, white, and blue pumpkin that is $1 million. There's no price on it, so it's priceless. It was $9. So maybe if you ask very nice, she might make another one when she has time. My red, white, and blue octopus that she made. Haven't given him a name yet, but he's there. He's on every broadcast. This is one of my favorites, but I don't know if they're making any more for Christmas. They made black bombs that were going to have an F on it to be the F bomb, but I don't think they decided after this Christmas that they were going to make any more of them. But anyway, William Grant, thank you for watching. Jane O'Malley, thank you for watching. Robin, Robin, I can never remember your last name, but Robin Brunson was watching. Remember, Robin Brunson says if you like coffee and you're looking for the best coffee company on Facebook, Fat Cup Coffee Company, you go to their page, go to their website, buy their coffee and consume it wherever you can. Robin goes to one of their stores every morning in Iowa and has coffee every morning. So go there. Let's see. Barbara Emmons, I want to get you on, Barbara, if you can come on sometime, because I think you'll be a fun addition to any panel that you're on. Paul, I don't mind your technical comments to someone during a broadcast, but I don't want comments. I have to scroll through and find it, but it was a negative comment about somebody that does broadcast or does something. I don't want them here. That's why you were booted from another broadcast that you used to watch. I don't want them here. Okay. We do time to time on the broadcast speak illy of another broadcast, and we don't. But now it's a relaunch of Boogie with the Bull, and I'm not doing that. Okay. I don't have any problems with people that used to be on here and aren't on here anymore. I don't watch some broadcasts that I used to do, that I used to watch. I'm not on some of those broadcasts anymore. I don't care. There is so much stuff that needs to get released to so many people every day that have the luxury of watching all this stuff we do on Facebook every day, that there's not enough people on Facebook doing it. So if you don't like another broadcaster, keep it out of the comments and enjoy our broadcast. And if you have a problem with that broadcaster, work it out as best you can, and or just don't watch their broadcast anymore. Life is too short. Ichabod Palmer is watching. Ichabod Palmer is the Stephen that Randy was talking about. He works in a butcher shop. Also, one of his jobs is going into the South and repairing headstones, markers, and working on all of that good Southern history stuff. And as he said, Ichabod will be on Randy's The Road to Dixie broadcast, 7 p.m. Sunday evening. Yeah, 7 p.m. Sunday evenings here on the Randy Rhodes Facebook channel. So make sure you watch that. William Rayfield, like I said, I'm sorry that you didn't get in close enough to be on the broadcast. I'll make it up to you on Tuesday if you wish. I'll make sure you get the link in plenty of time. Stephen, you're welcome to come by on Tuesday if you wish. That is the next time. The 10 a.m. boogies, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't guarantee they're going to happen right now every day. There was a change, as I said at the beginning of the broadcast, to one of my bipolar meds, and it was making me incredibly sleepy. Take it at 8 o'clock in the morning and be back in bed at 10:30 and sleep half the day. Now I'm taking it once a day in the evening with my bedtime meds, and hopefully I'll sleep even better than I've been sleeping lately. Once the amount of it in my body trickles down and I'm back to being awake at 10 o'clock in the morning, we might bring those back on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Otherwise, there may just be a spontaneous one here and there. If anybody who does these kinds of broadcasts, or anyone who wants to come on and be a part of Boogie with the Bull wants to come on, all you got to do is message me anytime and tell me that you want to be on the Tuesday or the Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, or you want to be on both. You're welcome to be on both. A rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bulls that we're going to start on most Saturday mornings have been kicked back to the original A Rare Saturday Morning Boogie with the Bull. If there is a karate event that I'm not going to on a Saturday, and or there is a craft show that Donna and Angela are at, then there may be one. They're kind of spontaneous too. Anyway, this is the part of the broadcast where I tell you watching Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. And I'm in some kind of trouble over some kind of copyright violation that has been resolved and everybody was happy, but I'm on a 2-day. I can't share until sometime Saturday. So if you watch the broadcast, I appreciate it. If you would share it everywhere you can on Facebook. If you're in any one of our groups, please make sure that you share it. And the last thing, this is the final thing, because I told everybody today is the final day that I'm talking about what happened with the original, the Hardcore Conservatives group. It doesn't matter. It was stolen. The person who stole it admitted that they stole it. They're thinking that I can get a group returned back to them, that I can't, and was never in a position to do it. So it's been resolved that as far as I'm concerned, the original, the Hardcore Conservatives group will probably be deleted or has been deleted from Facebook. I don't care. I'm sorry to the 234 members of it, a lot of them who have been messaging me lately asking me what happened to the group. That's what happened to the group. The group was relaunched about a week ago now. The Hardcore Conservatives group has the original copyrighted Hardcore Elephant logo that we have permission to use. And there are about 40 members in the group right now. I hope the 234 of you that have not joined will join. All of the serial drive-by posters, as I call them, the people that come in and post and post and post and post several times a day, like Mary Craig Battle, Gene's This Week in Democracy is posting again. Reese Craig, who is a serial drive-by poster in the MAGA News Nation, and the Red MAGA Nation is now in the Hardcore Conservatives group relaunch. So just look for the Hardcore Conservatives group. It should come up with about 40 members right now. That's the group. Go in and join it. Like I said, I can't post the link. I can't share the link until sometime on Saturday, and I appreciate it if you do. Our groups, once again, American Regulators, Boogie with a Bowl, True Patriot Talk, MAGA News Nation, as I said, Red Patriots for America. The are the Great American Nation, the Hardcore Conservatives group as a relaunch, and the United Media Group Uncensored, and the world stands as one against government overreach. I always get the name wrong, but if you look for it, you'll see it. It's there. And that group is actually doing really good. It's picking up a lot of international members. People in Israel that favor Israel ending the conflict with Hamas are joining. And on the other side of the equation, yes, we're allowing people who are in Israel and don't agree with Israel and the whole Gaza West Bank situation. Yeah, you're allowed to come in as well. The only thing I have to tell you is that because a Hebrew name goes from left to right, because when you write in Hebrew, you start on the right side and go to the left side. So they don't line up when the new member welcomes are posted, because Facebook can't figure out how to line something in that's not left to right when in a column. So from now on, you may see on a new member welcome something on the far right corner of the screen on a new member welcomes list, and that's why. It's the only way we can do it until we can figure out how to get admin assist when it compiles a list to put it in properly. Anyway, more information than you need to know. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with a Bull broadcast is going to come to an end, and we will be back on Tuesday night with some kind of history lesson from Jen, and then the round table with myself, Randy, Jen, and anyone else that wants to be a part of the fun. Live well and prosper, and